Inflation is cooling, so why aren't interest rates? Hi, I'm Debbie Indihar Giordano of Master Brokers. We'll answer that topic with my lender's report today. Talk about how AI applies to real estate today, a great article. And then I'll share with you my results from my open house this past weekend and what I've got scheduled coming up. So off the desk of my lender, he says, this week's inflation reports were encouraging. Both consumer and producer prices came in tame, adding evidence that inflation pressures are moving in the right direction. I think that's really great news. So why aren't interest rates moving lower? Because inflation typically is only one part of the equation. The bond market is also absorbing a large supply of Treasury debt, which can push yields higher. And you add oil prices and the uncertainty over the Fed's next move in terms of interest rates, and that will continue to keep the forces of interest rates in the higher sphere. So where are they today? Well, 30-year fixed conforming is at 6.74. 15-year fixed conforming is at 6.125. We'd really like to get that below 6 if that's possible. I'm hoping that'll happen by the end of the year. 30-year fixed jumbo is also at 6.75, and 15-year fixed jumbo is at 6.125%. So we'll keep a watch on that, and then I'll talk about the next era of housing, AI's role in real estate. Of course, that's the big topic now today is artificial intelligence. It's streamlining back office operations while reinforcing the indispensable value of human trust. So we can talk about AI all we want to all day, but it boils down still, our real estate business comes to a human trust experience. The AI adoption is already widespread across the real estate industry lifestyle, including routine tasks like drafting listing descriptions, generating social media content, responding to leads, and parsing complex documents. And they are very complex. I have a transaction coordinator on staff that we do all the documents online. I still like to meet with the sellers face to face when we do the sellers disclosures. I'll give an example. I just met the condo people this past weekend that I listed their property. They're moving to Boston next week. And we sat down and went through all the sellers disclosures, and that's something AI can't do. You need to define different parts of the real estate law and how that applies to the personal property and engage with the seller when they fill out those disclosures. So it's still important that it be on a face-to-face meeting for that. However, rapid technology adoptions come up with trade-offs. They said that there's many pitfalls in marketing if you don't have that human trust. The problem is that you can create efficiencies, then it starts to feel inauthentic. And I do like to be at all my open houses and talk about the value of the home that the buyers are looking at in the home. While tech-savvy consumers are turning to tools like ChatGPT to analyze seller disclosures, I just talked about that, or estimate home valuations, the panelists that put this article together are warning that there are several limitations to that. When you talk about home value, you've got to look at what amenities are in the property, where the location is, how that is affected with the schools. There's a lot of values that go into determining that value. As a result, buyers frequently confront agents with erroneous automated expectations that they see online, or repair cost projections that do require human correction. So despite the rapid influx of new tools, the panel unanimously agreed that technology cannot replace human empathy and judgment. Buying or selling a home remains one of the most emotionally charged events and financially important events in a consumer's life. And so, again, it's important that you get the right agent, someone with very good experience, starting my 48th year in the business. So it's probably not a transaction that I have encountered that I can't guide my clients through. So let's talk about this great open house that I had this past weekend. I held open 3371 Hostetter Road in San Jose. That's right on the borderline there of Milpitas. It's in the North Valley, Berryessa area. It's a 4 or 5 bedroom, 2 bath, close to 1,800 square feet, an amazing backyard. The price point is $1,925,000. I did my first open house in the evening. I did it Friday evening. Limited traffic came through, but it was so cool having the fire pit lit and the lights on in the backyard, and it really created an ambience. So I want to use that tool more efficiently with more properties and do a nighttime tour. So we'll talk about that if you call me to list your home, and we'll discuss doing that. Then the weekend produced 9 families on Saturday and 10 on Sunday. So I've sent out a couple disclosure reports and packages to a couple buyers that came in that are interested. So we'll see if we go into contract this week on that home. If not, I've got scheduled this weekend again to hold that property open, Saturday and Sunday, August 22nd and 23rd from 2 to 4. And then mark your calendars. I've got 1081 North Avenue in Milpitas. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, $748,888. Got that on September 15th and 16th from 2 to 4. So I've got first open house scheduled for that one. And then coming soon, 1750 Tahoe Drive in Milpitas, $1,750,000. Got that scheduled for the second weekend of October. I know it's kind of a long ways away, but the sellers are moving out and handing me the keys on September 29th for that property. By the way, that's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath with a family room, and it's been remodeled, and it's a nice property. So give me a call if you're interested in getting me out there to see your home. I'm at 408-945-8988 or Giordano DJ at AOL.com. Look forward to talking to you. Bye-bye.